I just want to quickly echo some of the comments of some of my other colleagues, my concern about the summer youth employment and the length of time it takes to do the processing, as well as I'm going to tell you the same thing I told you last year, and as I recently told Commissioner Poole from OCFS, it's beginning to be offensive, and I know this is not your decision. You didn't craft the budget. It's beginning to be offensive. There was a New York City representative and a New York City taxpayer that the state says to the city of New York that the people who live there are your responsibility with no obligation on the part of the state. It's just inherently offensive to New York City. They are not New York City's children or New York City's elderly or New York City's seniors or New York City's poor. They are the states. We are all residents of this one state. I just have to say that again, because it's assuming that the city will pick up the responsibility for everything because they will find a way to make it work. These are also requirements that are placed on the City of New York by the State of New York. So I would just hope that we could begin to stop this trend of shifting the burden totally to the City of New York for everything. I want to ask specifically about one program, because as you know, there are severe challenges to providing housing for people who are either suffering from mental health issues or the fragile elderly. A lot of them have relied on adult homes over the years. The adult home industry is closing largely because of the Olmstead decision, which says we have to move people to, independent living where we can. Many of those individuals are decompensating, and they are winding up in our nursing homes because there's nowhere for them to go because the adult homes aren't there. One of the things that could help stabilize the adult homes while they're still needed is an increase in the SSI rate. And I know the feds have pushed through this SSI COLA increase. What can we do to allow them to capture more of the SSI rate so that they can help provide more stable homes for people who really have nowhere else to go?
We recognize that there was legislation to be able to move down that path. I think the conversation really moves now to, again, that took place outside the budget confines last time, and that ultimately ended up in a veto. I think the question really is to have those kinds of public policy conversations during the context of the budget, because it's not
we're
that we do
doing
not,
right here. That's why I'm asking you.
I appreciate that, but we don't. It's not that we do not understand and appreciate the magnitude of what those organizations do.
Well, I just don't want to go down that rabbit hole again.
Sure.
Where we pass a legislation and the governor vetoes it saying it belongs in the context of the budget, and we try and put it in the budget and they kick it out and say do it in later legislation, because that's not solving the problem. We really need to figure out an answer to that. And I think that was it. Oh no, one question. In the governor's budget proposal, he projects that public assistance cases are going to be reduced by about 6,000. Where did we arrive at that number? How did we arrive at the projection that where public assistance, either applicants or cases, are being reduced or dropping?
No problem. We're using an econometric model that is consistent with how things are going across the entire state and what trends are showing. And that's traditionally the model that we utilize to be able to do that. Again, we have seen trends moving downward at this point. But also, obviously, we have to make sure that OTDA is prepared in case we have a scenario where the economy turns or other challenges come forward. We have to be able to provide those services.
And I just want to echo also the concern about the benefit cliff. We hear that routinely from agencies that employ people who are marginal, and unfortunately one of the unintended consequences of the minimum wage increase is it puts people up against the benefit cliff, and it forces them to make a very harsh decision, staying in the workforce or leaving their job because they can't afford to replace Medicaid, SNAP, or any of the other supplemental benefits
Sure.
that they receive. Thank you.
Thank you.